Okay guys, summer's come to a close and college has started again. Too soon for my liking. That means that I have to put my focus on my studies again. I did manage to get a few videos out, as you've already seen, but I didn't get all of them uploaded. However, I also mentioned at the beginning of summer not to expect all of my videos to be uploaded, so don't say I didn't warn you. Now there are still some videos in the editing process, so hopefully I'll get them uploaded sometime during this semester, but that depends on how much I can do during my spare time after I've done my college assignments. Don't expect the Q&A video though, as that is a huge project that I've yet to start recording my answers to, and I can't accomplish that during a college semester. With all that aside, here are some updates. First off, the Great Railway Show. I know I posted this on Twitter and Facebook. YouTube, I'm unsure of whether I announced this or not, but I did manage to acquire a Bachmann Green Arrow off of eBay sometime last year, and for a good bargain as well. This year, during the summer, I also purchased a Dapple plastic kit of Stephenson's rocket. Additionally, I put in reserve payments to Locomotion models for the Rapido Sterling single, as well as the Locomotion's models exclusive City of Truro and Evening Star models. However, I'm still in a bit of a financial crisis. You see, a reserve payment is a small contribution of money sent to the seller to ensure that the models you want can be reserved for you. This doesn't mean that it's an easy ticket to avoid paying the full amount. You still have to do that. Now, having to reserve for 3 models is going to put me in a bit of a pickle, and if I can't pay the full amount for one of the items by a certain deadline, that particular model can no longer be reserved for me and will have to be sold to someone else. I've already acquired a job making $120 per month, but still, having to cope with the budget for the Magic Road Adventures, it's likely that I might not be able to support the budget for the Great Railway Show on my own. I've already created a Patreon page for the Great Railway Show, but obviously that's gone nowhere. So I'm open to suggestions for other ways to earn money, whether it be an alternate crowdfunding website or a substantial donation. If you have an idea, put it forward. I bet you are all curious as to the proofreading for the script of the Great Railway Show. Well, I will say that while I am looking for people to proofread it, I can't pass it off to just anyone. I need to rely on someone who I can trust to actually do the job properly. Read the script over, make comments on any of the necessary changes or alterations, and recommend it to one of the big boys for production. Either SIF or the Thomas Creator Collective. This is why I laid out the details of who I want the proofreader to be. Someone who has either worked with the TCC or SIF, and someone who would have read the original Christopher Awdry books that the script adapts. No offense, but I'd rather give my script to someone who actually meets these details instead of handing it off to just anyone and risk it being spoiled or worse, having someone take all the credit and use the script to create a project without my involvement. I don't want my efforts to go down the drain because of that, and because of the current times showing how many people can actually be immature about the stuff that they do. It's a bit difficult to find someone actually trustworthy enough. I will tell you one alteration I've made to the script. It's a minor alteration, but I decided to make Dan the diesel shunter at the NRM female. Now I know some of you are going to say, "Why are you changing the gender for the diesel when you've already shown disdain for Mallard being female?" And others are going to say, "We have enough female engines, we don't need you to change one engine male to female." But hear me out. In regards to the first complaint, let me remind you of the reasons I have as to why I'm reluctant to make Mallard a female. Firstly, I don't see Mallard as a female engine. The name Mallard sounds more masculine, and the Clive Spawn illustration in the book makes Mallard look more male in comparison with the Duchess of Hamilton. Secondly, both the Thomas & Friends wiki site and the Thomas Creator Collective series say that Mallard is male. The TCC is associated with the official Thomas & Friends YouTube page, so it's likely that the authorities approve the fact that Mallard is male. Now, I did make an example in my last video of the Thomas & Friends wiki site being tampered with, so not every piece of info you read may actually be true or not. It largely depends on the source material. But I'll just bet that if a poll was made on the matter of Mallard's gender, the majority of the votes would go for Mallard being male. Now, addressing the second complaint, sure, we have a lot of female engines appearing on Thomas & Friends, but for the most part, we've pretty much seen female steamers and rolling stock. The amount of female diesels that are in the show is pretty much limited in comparison. In fact, the total number of female diesels we have had in the TV show are, drumroll please, 3. Yep, we've only had Daisy, Mavis, and now Frankie, and that's it. Now before you refer to Pip and Emma, don't. Right now I'm only referring to the TV series, and Pip and Emma didn't appear in them. I would like to refer to them, but since they never appeared on screen, not a lot of people outside of the Railway series enthusiasts are going to know about them. With that said, Dan is going to be a female diesel. I'm rather open to it. It's not like the gender change is going to affect the storyline at all. Dan is just doing the maintenance work for the National Railway Museum. Besides, the name Dan can be used as both a boy's name and a girl's name. Dan is short for both Daniel and Danielle. This makes the change all the more easier. Next thing I'd like to talk about is the progress on the Thomas & the Magic Railroad's Director's Cut. I know I said much of what I'm going to say in my last video, but I'm repeating it here for those viewers who might not have watched my last video. I've been getting requests from certain commenters asking me about what the progress was on the Director's Cut restoration, even some demanding me to release it. I just want to say that I cannot release the Director's Cut because I am not involved with the Director's Cut restoration, because I'm not a part of the Thomas & Friends production team. I am merely a fan like the rest of you out there, and what I've been doing this whole time is providing social media announcements to everyone about the petitions. Promotional material, that's all I've ever done. If you want updates on how the progress of the Director's Cut is going, I recommend that you follow the Restore the Magic account on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. They could give you updates far better than I could, because they're actually in touch with the production team. I'm not. And as for the Magic Railroad Adventures, if you want to see updates on that, I suggest you go and subscribe to my other channel, Indian Valley Railway Studios, because I'm only uploading my MRA material on that channel, so updates on that series will be published. I also recommend that you follow me on my Facebook page and Twitter page. That's all for me. Cheerio.